So I'm just about finished with rereading Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles for review on this channel, and I wanted to do this video as a way of previewing to you what the series I'm going to be reading will be after the Vampire Chronicles is all finished. So, the plan is to start the Strain Trilogy by Guillermo del Toro and Chuck Hogan. There are, of course, there are 3 books. It's a trilogy. Oh my gosh! It starts with The Strain, and then The Fall, and then the 3rd book, The Night Eternal, I still have on order as of recording this video. This is my 2nd time ordering the book. First time got delayed, I guess because the order was delayed by about a month, and they said screw it and just cancel it anyway. So this is the 2nd time I've ordered it, and the 2nd time being delayed. So one of these days I'll get that book. But this might not be the first series I start with in 2021 if I don't get the book in time to finish the Vampire Chronicles. Just a heads up. For those of you who are unaware, the Strain Trilogy takes a more, from what I heard, it takes a more scientific approach to vampires and vampirism. And at least the first 2 books anyways take place in Manhattan and the surrounding area. And the whole idea is that there's this plane that comes into an airport in Manhattan and goes completely dark. And then when people go to investigate it, they end up unleashing a vampiric plague upon the city. And they have a very limited amount of time to deal with it before the city and potentially the state and potentially the entire country or the world becomes afflicted with vampirism. So, yeah, sounds fun. So if I don't get book 3 in the Strain Trilogy on time, then the series I will be reading first is Bloodsucking Fiends by Christopher Moore. Again, this is 3 books. Bloodsucking Fiends, You Suck, and Bite Me. And this is more of a comedic take on vampires. And does it follow the same character the whole way through? Oh yeah, so it definitely follows the same characters the whole way through. Thomas and Jody. And yeah, so Jody wakes up one day in a dumpster in an alley, realizing she's a vampire, and then things just kick off from there. Comedic writing, I don't know, comedy in general is hit or miss for me. I love British comedy, but anything else just kind of really depends on who writes it and how they write it and all that jazz. So we'll see how this goes, but this is, at the rate things are going, this is probably going to be the next one I read. And then, once those series are done, if I can get them done in time, then I'll be focusing on the Vampire Genevieve series by Kim Newman, which he wrote under the pseudonym of Jack Yeovil. You have Drachenfels, Genevieve Undead, Beast in Velvet, and the anthology Silver Nails. So this I'm really excited for, and look at the covers, guys. I mean, look at that. Like, just you can't get a better set of matching covers than this, in my opinion. Like, I have so many on my shelf, but this is really good. I wanted to read this series before Kim's Anno Dracula series because apparently Genevieve appears in Anno Dracula. He actually brought the character over into that series, so I really want to get a grasp of the origins of the character and what the character is like. So when I encounter the character in Anno Dracula, I'll be like, oh hey, how's it going? I like it when stuff like that happens. So these are clearly not very big books that will probably take a very short time for me to read, which is nice. I like short reads sometimes. As I understand it, the first book is, well, I don't know if this is actually meant to be how she becomes a vampire or if she already is a vampire when the series begins. I really don't know. But the whole series is meant to follow her specifically. So that should prove interesting. I'm really excited to read this. Then the next series I'm going to read is The Vampire Diaries. So these 2 books are it's a 4-book series, but both of these books are anthologies consisting of 2 books each. So this one is the first 2 books, The Awakening and The Struggle. And then this one is The Fury and Dark Reunion, the last 2 books out of the 4. There's also a sequel series of 3 books that I haven't gotten my hands on yet. The idea is to get those before I start reading this so I can just read the whole way through, which would be a very good idea. There are lots of other sequel series and spin-offs and stuff, but I'm only going to be reading those 7 books total, 5 books technically because of this, because from what I understand it, the other books are either they're meant to tie in more to the television adaptation than the original books themselves. And after the sequel series that comes directly after this one, all the other books are, from what I learned, written by ghostwriters under the name of L.J. Smith. Not actually L.J. Smith herself. And I'd rather read the books that she actually wrote. Thank you very much. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Vampire Diaries is a young adult paranormal romance that follows Elena, Stefan, and Damon. Elena is human, and Stefan and Damon are vampire brothers. I don't know offhand if they are biological brothers or just considered brothers because they're in the same clan. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, apparently the TV adaptation was pretty successful. I don't plan on watching it, but I do plan on reading these books, so we'll see. So another series I plan on reading before the end of 2021 is the All Souls trilogy by Deborah Harkness. There's also another individual novel that takes place in the same universe that I have right here. I am currently missing book 2. The series follows a witch and her vampire boyfriend. They basically come across she comes across like some kind of magical book, I think, that teleports itself into another timeline or something, and then she and her vampire boyfriend got to go track it down, and I don't know. But these ones, the vampires are kind of more on the sidelines, but this one here is actually focusing on a vampire character specifically. So I'm way more excited to read this, but I thought it'd probably be a good idea to read the trilogy as well, just to see. There might be some things in that in this book here that I missed if I don't read the trilogy, and we'll see. We'll see. I hope I enjoy it. It's I've heard mixed things about it. It's yet another one of those that's had an adaptation done. The first season has been done for a little while. I believe the second season is coming out soon, or already come out by the time this video is released. I don't know. I really don't care. But I'm intrigued to see how these books turn out. As long as it's better than some other books, it'll be fine. And yet another paranormal romance series, this time for adults, consists of 5 books, The Blood Bond Saga by Helen Hart. It follows, there is a vampire named Dante Gabriel, and then then there's an ER nurse named Erin Hamilton. So Dante Gabriel and Erin Hamilton. Clearly they're the couple that you're going to be following in this series. I otherwise know next to nothing about this series at all. It just happened to be on the shelf in the bookstore in the romance section, and all 5 books were there, and I'm like, okay, sure, why not? I don't even know if anyone's heard about this, but whatever. I mean, it's a romance book, and romance is like one of the biggest selling genres ever, so there's probably a lot more people that are aware of this than I think. Maybe. And then 2 more paranormal romance young adult series that I plan to read before the end of 2021. First is going to be Vampire Academy. It consists of 6 books. You are following Lissa Dragomir, who is a Moroi or mortal vampire princess, and then you have Rose Hathaway, who is a Dhampir who happens to be her best friend and protector. Apparently the movie adaptation left people wanting. I don't watch media very much, so I don't plan on watching the adaptation of this. But I do plan on reading all 6 books, and then apparently there is a ebook only sequel or short story collection or something. I'll look into that when I'm done reading the actual mainline books in the series. And then, finally, by the end of 2021, the goal is to read all the books in the Twilight Saga that have been published so far. Hopefully by that point the paperback version of the most recent book, Midnight Sun, would have come out, in which case I can buy that and read that as well, which is part of the reason why I'm kind of postponing this, because I know that that book is out and I'm just waiting for the paperback version. I'll admit I'm not excited to read this for multiple reasons, but I will put my doubts and my preconceived biases aside to try and read this with as clear of a head as I possibly can. No guarantees. I know there's a lot of people who love this series. I know there's a lot of people who hate this series, but I will do my best to... I mean, reviews are always going to be biased because, you know, it's one person's opinion, but I just want to make it clear I'm going to try not to go in this biased against it. I'm not going to bother saying what Twilight is, because if you don't know what Twilight is, where have you been? Alright, so those are all the vampire series I plan on reading in 2021. There will be some individual vampire novels in between all of those. I'm not going to bother announcing those because I'll just pick them up when I feel like it. But yeah, that's what you have to look forward to in 2021 from me, on top of other potential videos that could come up along the way. So I'm excited to see what you guys think of my reading plans. You know, have you read any of them? What do you think of them? Yay or nay? And yeah, I'm looking forward to tackling all these books next year, and I look forward to seeing you guys come along for the ride. So that's it for today's video, and I will talk to you later. Bye!